So this is just me looking at you, having initial conversations with you. I see a normal lady. I see a normal, very nice, well-spoken lady. What was your life like growing up?
Sorry.
It's okay.
My dad, he was an alcoholic. He started drinking really, really bad when I was like 5. And before that, he was like my hero, my best friend. I did everything with him. I mean, we had everything. We went on vacations. You know, we had a camper. We had a trampoline in the backyard, a pool, things like that. But my mom worked midnights, and my dad was always at the bar after work. So no one was ever really home. You know, my mom's always like, well, you had everything you wanted. But, like, we wanted them.
So, here we go.
I'm Holly. I'm 34 years old. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I struggle with heroin addiction, fentanyl, and crack cocaine.
Holly, where did we meet you today? What were you out doing?
I was actually getting ready at a gas station because I live on church steps. So I go to the gas station where they have a plug so I can plug my curling iron in charge my phone and stuff like that. And then I was getting new needles and crack pipes and things like that from the Harmless van. They park there every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Last week they were off, so they're here today. So it was a little funky week. But.
So you said you sleep on church steps? Is
Yeah.
that nearby here?
Yeah, it's about not even a quarter mile that way. It's behind a Little Caesars across 8 miles.
How long have you been doing that?
About a month now. Before that, I was sleeping in an abandoned house, but they came and boarded it up. So
you had to relocate.
We were there for like 2 months.
Who's we?
Me and my boyfriend.
And how long have you guys been together?
A year.
Where did you guys meet?
We were working in a trap house on the west side. He was a doorman, and I had a Jeep Patriot at the time. So I was just like like running the boosters to the stores, running errands for the dope man and the chick who was rolling the sack.
So this is just me looking at you, having initial conversations with you. I see a normal lady. I see a normal, very nice, well-spoken lady. What was your life like growing up?
Sorry.
It's okay.
My dad, he was an alcoholic. He started drinking really, really bad when I was like 5. And before that, he was like my hero, my best friend. I did everything with him. And so I started noticing the changes when I was like 5 or 6. He became really physically abusive towards my mom and then towards us kids. I have a brother and a sister. They're both older. And they always tried to protect me and would try to take my punishments and stuff so that I didn't have to. And his drinking just got out of control. We moved around a lot. I went to 5 different elementary schools. We've lived in Arizona. We've lived all over Metro Detroit. Like, so many cities I can't even name right now. But it was, we had everything we needed. We went on vacations. We had a camper. We had a trampoline in the backyard, a pool, things like that. But my mom worked midnights, and my dad was always at the bar after work, so no one was ever really home. And You know, my mom's always like, well, you had everything you wanted. But, like, we wanted them. But, yeah. I mean, my dad's sober now. So that's great. You know, they have guardianship of my daughter. And they're amazing with her. You know, I think my dad really loves his grandchildren more than he ever did us kids. But that's fine with me because my daughter's my everything. She's a good kid, and she they're giving her the best life she could have, you know. I'd like to give that to her one day.
Yeah. Well, we'll come back to that in a minute. When did you start experimenting with drugs?
When I was 13, I think it was the first time I smoked weed. 14 was the first time I ever drank alcohol. And I just kind of messed around with those two things on and off throughout high school. And then when I was 17, that's when I started dating this guy that I had known since like 8th grade. He was a friend of my sister's. And we had German class together. And for a year, we sat next to each other and became like best friends. And then we started dating. And his older brother got him hooked on heroin. He tricked him and told him it was coke the first time he tried it. And it wasn't. And then I started dating him. And 3 months in, I found out he was using heroin. And by then I was like attached to him. I wanted to help, you know. I didn't want to just leave him.
He lured you in.
Yeah. And I was like naive. Like I said, I mentioned to you before, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I thought heroin, like homeless people in Detroit on church steps, you know, like shooting up, needles sticking out of their arms, and I didn't know you could sniff it. So I was like, oh, that's not bad. That's, you know, that's not as bad as it could be, I guess. I just never thought it would get to where, you know, I've been using half of my life.
So this was in, when did you start?
2006.
2006, and that's when it was actually heroin, right?
Yeah.
Because most of what's around now is
Fentanyl. I remember hearing about fentanyl around the summer of 2007.
Okay.
That was like the first time I ever heard the word fentanyl, and it just started coming into Detroit around that time.
So can you explain, I mean, obviously, a lot of people will tell me they remember the very first time that they ever did heroin. Can you explain what that was like? What that did for you?
I was actually, that whole summer, I was on the verge of being an alcoholic, like my dad. I was drinking every day, and it was like blackout drunk type drinking. And this is the summer before my senior year in high school, so I was young. And I think I was just like kind of doing these things to take the pain away. Like me and my dad had we butted heads a lot. We just hated each other at the time. And it sucked. So, and like I said, I adored my dad, so that was just really hard for us to hate each other like that. So I think I was doing it to take that pain away, and then me and my boyfriend at the time, we went to the movies, and like I said, I had known that he was using, but it was kind of for him like a weekend thing and stuff. But anyway, we were done with the movie. We went back to his house, and we were kind of just hanging out in his car out front of his house. And he was like, I need to sniff a line of boy because I'm kind of feeling rough. Like, I think he was doing it daily, but telling me he wasn't. And so I was like, oh, let me try some. And he was like, no, he didn't want me to. And after about, I don't know, 10 minutes of like, please, you can't do it and not give me some. And I just want to see what it feels like. He brought me out a line to sniff. And I remember sniffing it. We were in his back seat, just kind of cuddling. And I remember sniffing it and then waking up like 2 hours later. And he was really scared because he thought I was like, I guess he thought I was overdosing for a little while there while I was passed out. But I came to, and I remember feeling so nauseous. I threw up. And every time that I used heroin after that for like 3 months, I would throw up. And it's like, why would I keep doing that when, it's making me sick? But after I threw up, it was like, you felt so amazing, like it was worth it.
So even though it was making you physically sick and not
the
out,
feeling
awesome,
after was worth it.
It was, can you explain what that feels like? If you could put that into words or even try to.
Like you don't care about anything. Anything that was bothering you is gone. You're warm. You just feel a warmth in your body, like someone's hugging you really tight, and like I don't even know how to explain it. Like a person, like a person hugging you, but there's nobody hugging you.
So you're doing this every day, right? Heroin every day for the last 17 years. Have you been locked up at all? I mean, is there multiple times you've been to jail or to rehab? Or
I've been to rehab I've lost count, but I think it's somewhere around 17 times.
17 times in rehab?
Yeah. I've been to inpatient, outpatient, intensive outpatient. I've done methadone, Suboxone. The only thing that really helped me stay sober for a long-term period of time was methadone. I happened to get like 5 years clean.
It's amazing.
With methadone. Weaning off is a process though. Mm-hmm. And I was going really slow and it was working. I was coming off with no pain. I got down to 12 milligrams and decided to just jump off, which afterwards I was told, like, you need to go all the way down to 1 slowly, and I just was impatient. I wanted off. And I think I was having reservations already, like, in my mind that I wanted to use one more time. And, so I just wanted to be off that shit just to have a relapse, and so after 5 years, it's crazy.
That's a long time. So when you stopped, that day that you stopped dosing, how long did it take for you to get high after that?
2 days.
So it happened quick.
Mm. I was very sick quickly.
So let's go back to current times. You're using fentanyl and you're injecting it?
And crack cocaine.
And crack cocaine mostly?
Mm-hmm.
Is it, what's your main, if you could only get one today, what would you use?
Well, because of the physical side of things, fentanyl. I mean, I wish it was heroin, but it's all fentanyl now. Mm-hmm. Or xylazine.
Xylazine's up here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Drank. It's bad. I mean, I was having skin problems because of it and stuff. Like, things weren't healing. I was punched in the mouth, and it started with a little cut, and then it grew into this scab, and I had this scab for about a month and a half that would not heal. Wow. Yeah.
And can you tell the difference between xylazine and fentanyl if you were to be sold some right now by looking at it?
Not by looking at it, no. Usually you can by looking at the people around you, because xylazine will make people like nod out and like standing up, like their knuckles will be scraping the floor type thing. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like they'll contort themselves into weird positions, and like it's like wild to see. Like they're doing some crazy yoga. Fentanyl, I haven't really seen much of that. Like I've seen people like talk while they're nodded out, or like I call it the fentanyl dance, where they're standing and they're kind of like moving around. But I've never seen this weird, like everybody's like like that on xylazine. It's really, really strange to see.
What would you rather have if you could choose between the two?
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl.
Xylazine's horrible.
How easy is it to get in Detroit?
To get here, dope? Walk down Gratiot. The first day I was down here, I was at 8 and 75 all last summer, and we just came out here this summer. The first 3 days we were down here, we didn't buy any heroin or crack because we had a gram within a day of heroin and a gram and a half of crack just by testers.
Really?
Yeah.
So you'll walk
and a car will pull up
down this street and people will come to you.
Yeah. Try my stuff. It's fire.
How can they tell you're not a cop? They just don't care? They're that aggressive with it?
Some of them will make you use in front of them. Some of them might not care enough. Some of them can tell.
through like track marks and things like that.
Yeah. Mm.
So I want to talk about how you're feeding your habit, because I can't. Well, let's ask this first. How much are you using in terms of dollar amounts? How much money are you spending on heroin or fentanyl and crack daily?
It really depends. Me and my boyfriend obviously split everything up, like divvy it up 50-50. But we're probably spending anywhere on, depending on the day, whether it's good or bad, because he boosts. I do too, but not as much because he doesn't want me to get in trouble. Depending on the day, we're spending anywhere between 100 and 200 a day, I'd say.
And how many times do you shoot up daily?
He does a lot more than I do, but I probably shoot up like 4 to 5 times a day. Sometimes more if we're having a party day.
And that's because it wears off quicker, because heroin used to last a lot longer.
Yeah, heroin lasted like 8 to 12 hours. Now, and we've gotten real heroin here twice in the last 3 months. And it was great because it lasted, but everything else, you're getting sick by 4-hour mark.
Can you explain what boosting is? Because I think a lot of people might not know what that is. You said that's how he gets money.
Yeah, stealing from stores and selling to, really, most people down here will buy whatever you have. If you just walk down the street with backpacks and bags, they know you're boosting. So they'll come up and say, what do you got? What do you have for sale? Yeah.
So this is not only a place where drug dealers will come, but people that want to buy things will just come to this area.
People that live here just know if you've got, bags, tote bags, they know they can get. The big thing is Tide Pods. Another big thing is like Dove soap, just like cleaning supplies. They can get it half price, right? Especially right now with inflation, they'd rather buy it from someone who's a booster.
What about you? So you mentioned you don't get into the boosting too much because your boyfriend doesn't want you to. What's the worst thing that you've done to feed your addiction?
I haven't done it in a year, but I have tricked for money. I was on a website at one point, but I just, if I feel like I need to make some money, I need to help us out, I'll booze. I hate doing it though. I hate being in the stores, walking out the moment before walking through those metal detectors and everything. Just, it's a whole ass panic attack for me.
Yeah.
I have really bad anxiety and like PTSD and a lot of mental health issues. So like, it's a lot on my mind to be doing shit like that.
I want to talk about the sex work a little bit, if you're comfortable talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason that you said you started it and then you stopped doing it, right?
Yeah, like a month. I did it for about a month.
Can you tell us why you did not continue doing that?
I've been raped about 5 times since I was 18. And a therapist put it to me like this. My mind can't tell the difference between having sex for drugs, having unwanted sex, like if I'm just having sex with my boyfriend because he's in the mood and I'm not, and being raped. In my brain, it's all the same. So anytime I put myself on a date for money with someone, I would have to like disassociate and try to take myself out of it, because like it feels like I'm being raped all over again. And that shit was like, I've been through some really traumatic rapes. I was raped 2 weeks ago out here, walking home at night. So
Just walking home.
yeah, just walking home. They actually, when I walked by, they knew who I was, because they said, that's my boyfriend's name, girl who he won't let anybody fuck. And then they ran up on me, and they had a gun. Two of them had guns. There were 3 of them all together. And I stopped as soon as I heard the click of the gun, and I said, I don't want to die. I won't look at you. Do whatever you need to do, and let me go. I won't turn around. So they led me to a field across the street and raped me, and then told me to lie down for 60 seconds. And I could see Gratiot. I could, the lights on Gratiot, like that's where I was headed. And it just sucked because I was right there. And something in me told me to run when I was passing those guys. And I didn't. And I should have. My gut feeling's always right. Always.
When was the first time? How old were you when you were raped the very first time?
17.
So do you think that there's any irony in the fact that you were raped at the first time at 17, and at 17 is also when your addiction took off?
I do not. I think that's all very much so connected. I think I was trying to deal with all the pain that I had a lot of anger because of my childhood, my dad, our relationship, things going on at home. I was never able to keep girlfriends around because I had dad issues, and I slept around a lot in high school, and I was just looking for love from a man, from a guy. And I have always been trying to find ways to just feel loved and feel that void, And I think for a little while, heroin is the thing that did it, But that only lasts like a very short period of time before it becomes a void of its own that can't be filled. You just, it's hell.
Are you high right now?
No, not high right now. I'm off sick, yeah, but I used probably 3 or 4 hours ago, so I'm not like, I don't really nod out anymore. I've been doing it so long. I don't know, I guess, like, my boyfriend always says, oh, this girl can put down some dope. But I think it's just because I've been doing it so long. And even when I was sober, I was still taking methadone. So I was on an opiate. You know what I mean? I watch everybody around me nod out and OD. I just Narcan 2 people yesterday on the church steps, an hour apart from each other. Things are just getting worse and worse out here.
I want to ask you a series of questions, and then I'm going to end with one very, very important question, okay? And you can just answer these ones quickly. When's the last time you slept in a bed?
A week ago, one of our street friends got a motel room at Eastland Motel right there.
When's the last time you showered?
That same. So a week ago, took an actual shower.
When's the last time somebody sober said they love you?
I don't. Like 4 or 5 months ago.
Who was that?
My mother. And my daughter.
When's the last time you truly felt safe?
6 months ago.
Holly, if you had a magic wand that I could give to you right now, and I told you that if you could wave this magic wand and your life would be exactly what you want it to look like, whatever that might be, what would that be? Anything you want.
I'd be sober, working. My boyfriend would be sober and working. We'd have a house with my daughter. I just want to be a mom. She deserves it. I deserve it. He deserves it. We're not bad. We're just fucked up. We're kind of lost right now. But we're getting to the point where we're pretty tired. We're pretty fed up with all of this. I mean, in the last week, I was telling you earlier, I've been attacked by pit bulls. I've been punched in the face by one of my friends. I was robbed and beaten by a drug dealer for no reason. I was raped. This is just the last couple weeks. I've had all my shit stolen from me over the last week. Like, I have nothing. It's just spiraling now. Like, it's just, I'm ready to, something's about to give here because I can't take it anymore. And these streets out here on the east side are like, they will chew you up and spit you out, and most of the time you don't make it out alive,
Do you think you can get sober?
I do. I know I can. It's just I have to. I don't know why it's so hard for me to just make that step.
Well, I believe in you. I really do. I know we don't know each other, but I truly do believe that you can do it. I believe that you can do it for yourself and for your daughter. And if you make that decision, you know where to go. Where we found you today. There's people that care about you.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you for your time.
Thank you guys.